Madam Secretary, I know you've probably been working day and night and been dealing with Congress. I know I appreciate all your efforts, though. I know it's not an easy job right now. You know, Republican and Democrat administrations are in agreement that this region is America's top foreign policy and national security priority. This region has been a battleground between democracy and tyranny for decades. Today, the Chinese Communist Party is trying to dominate the region and push the U.S. military out through military expansion and debt trap diplomacy. Mr. Chairman, you titled this hearing the Restoring American Leadership in Indo-Pacific. And so I'd like to make 2 points on American leadership in the Indo-Pacific, because the Americans watching might be under the mistaken impression that we may have left. But first, we've been in the Indo-Pacific for over 120 years, since the end of the Spanish-American War. Second, Americans' legacy in the Indo-Pacific is freedom and prosperity. In the Second World War, my dad's war, and other conflicts, Americans sacrificed their lives to keep this region free. And the results speak for themselves: an independent Philippines, thriving democracies in Japan, Korea, and Taiwan, and a strong ASEAN. But the CCP is undermining this hard-won freedom and prosperity. Chairman Xi and Mr. Putin have formed this, as we saw at the Beijing Olympics, this unholy alliance of two dictators obsessed with rebuilding their empires. Their recent no-limits partnership endorsed each other's territorial aggression. Putin has made his move. Question is, will Chairman Xi make his? Taiwan is the front line. On the front line to maintain a free Indo-Pacific, a CCP-controlled Taiwan would be an unprecedented blow to our economic and national security. It would threaten the homeland, weaken our alliances, allow the CCP to hold the world's economy hostage by controlling supply chains, including semiconductors. And I believe they control about 90% of the advanced semiconductors in Taiwan. So anyway, I'm glad you're here today. I know you're busy and you've got a lot of other things on your plate, and to answer our questions. Before and during Putin's invasion, the president, the national security advisor, and administration officials at all levels, including yourself, Madam Secretary, went above and beyond to engage the CCP. But instead of joining the international community, I believe they doubled down on their loyalty to Vladimir Putin instead. And rather than condemn Russia, they helped spread Russia's disinformation. Rather than sanction Russia, they helped Russian banks avoid U.S. sanctions. Mr. Chairman, our response to the CCP threat needs less talk and more action. Soon I'll be introducing the Taiwan Deterrence Act to stand up a security assistance program for Taiwan. Putin's invasion of Ukraine has shown us how critical it is to get our allies the weapons they need before an invasion and not after. The invasion of Ukraine is also a reminder that we have the power to lead our allies in punishing and deterring our enemies. We can cripple our adversaries' economies. We can use export controls to cut off technology that they use to build their military and that they use to murder innocent people. We can restrict the outbound flows of American investments into their brutal regime. Quite frankly, we have had crippling effects on Russia. I think we need to look at China and their quest for aggression. If we truly want the United States to lead in the Indo-Pacific, we need to deal with the CCP from a position of strength. And I would be remiss if I did not mention the Iran nuclear deal, in particular the possibility of lifting the Foreign Terrorist Organization designation on the IRGC. This is a terrorist entity that has blood of over 600 Americans on its hands, and it continues to plan and launch attacks around the world. Delisting this organization as part of a political deal with Iran would undermine our sanctions around the world, and it would give a free pass to terrorism. I know this is one of the options on the table, Madam Secretary, but I would urge you to resist that temptation. I think that would be a terrible mistake. So I look forward to our discussion, and with that, I yield back.